Dun, dun, dun.
Hi, I'm Peter,
And I'm Cameo.
and I just was messing with you. I love you.
Wait, are we really recording?
We are.
Oh my, wow. That's low.
Well, listen, I know that we keep talking about the little bit of music at the beginning, and that you don't have a headphone or a headset, so
Oh no.
so you miss out, and then you started doing your own little thing, and I'm like,
it was my own theme song.
hit record, hit record.
Wow. Wow.
I love you.
Yeah, clearly. I can't believe you did that to me.
Well, I did. So that's part of the fun of being the only one with headphones.
I was waiting to see when you were going to hit play so I could shut up. But instead, I was doing my own theme song.
Yep.
You know what it reminds me of? Because the thing is, I do that throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that?
What, just hum random stuff?
Yeah, hum random stuff while you're doing it. It's sort of like you're, you know it. And as like, for example, like if I'm mopping, right? And I'm getting into like this really sticky part and I'm going at it. Whatever I'm singing, it like reaches like a crescendo. Because it's, you know.
Well, my thing is, so with my guys, I don't know why, but it's become a thing, and I've been doing it now for a while, but I'll just randomly go into un pasito pa'lante, un pasito para atrás, and then that's it. That's all I say.
And do they finish it for you?
No, I just say it. But that's me breaking into song.
Okay, so you
think
do
it's-
break into song. That's what my question was. Do you break into song?
Yeah, but
I do that randomly for no reason.
I think I do it more because a lot of times we take one step forward and then we're one step back again.
Yeah. I always like playing that game where somebody says something, you know, and then you sing the song from that little line.
Oh, because it fits?
Because it fits.
Yeah.
And then you start playing that game. Every time they say something, you're singing that.
Yep.
That was always fun. But anyway, sorry for the interruption, folks.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program. That actually sounded really good in my headset. I should be
Yeah.
a radio guy.
Wow.
Welcome to 93.4.
Interesting fact. My professor right now, okay, in the class that I'm taking of speech communications, he used to be a radio announcer. And I'm getting a little bit more insight into why he speaks the way he does, because he speaks like this when he's teaching class to us. And I always thought, like, wow.
Slow and deliberate.
Slow and deliberate, yeah. And so he made a comment about how he was in radio in the 70s, okay? And that when they went to school for that they taught them these speaking techniques so that they could be, I guess, clear while they were on the radio and energetic. And I don't know, I guess so you could have your own distinct sound.
You imagine if we did this like that? Be like, and the next thing that we did was have breakfast.
Okay, nobody talks like that in radio.
morning.
That sounds like you're imitating Forrest Gump.
No.
That does. That nobody talks like that in radio. Who listens to the radio anymore?
I don't remember the last time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I just realized that it's 420 today. It's Taco Tuesday.
There's a little bit of everything.
What?
There's a little bit of everything going on today. Because not only is it Taco Tuesday, it's 420, which, funny enough, we started to have this conversation and you weren't quite sure what it was.
About Taco Tuesday?
No, about 420.
Are these two different events? Because it is. I know it's 420. Okay.
420.
It's April the 20th.
Yes,
Taco Tuesday.
But 420 has nothing to do with Taco Tuesday.
Okay, you're saying that Taco Tuesday landed on 420, but 420 isn't Taco Tuesday.
No, 420 is something well known in the marijuana world. And
are we allowed to say that?
Well, we can say I'm not promoting it.
Okay.
So it's
I'm
just
here to talk about Taco Tuesday
Yes. Well, you brought up 420.
because it is 420.
Yeah,
And
but
so
because,
it just happens to be that 420 is something else
yes,
and Taco Tuesday.
yes. But,
Okay.
So we'll focus on the Taco Tuesday part.
Because
Everyone
we
else
had
knows about the other part.
tacos for breakfast and they were so, so good.
They were delicious.
Right. But it's not beefy tacos. It was breakfast tacos. And
They were loaded.
they were loaded breakfast tacos.
I have a picture. I can put them
Oh,
up.
yes. Awesome. You make the best scrambled eggs. Okay. I know you learned from Gordon Ramsay firsthand. True or false?
Where is the lamb sauce?
If anyone has any questions, we are huge Gordon Ramsay fans.
Yep, that's for sure.
But you make the best scrambled eggs, and we paired that up with some chopped onions and peppers
And sausage.
and sausage, and
then
then cheese,
cheese.
and
There was mozzarella.
guacamole.
It was mozzarella. Hold on, let's go back to the cheese. Mozzarella cheese with cheddar, jalapeno cheddar.
Monterey Jack. Spicy.
It was delicious.
It was delicious. Guacamole, you like your sour
I like
cream,
sour cream.
some hot sauce.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yummy, yummy.
So, yeah.
We ended the last episode talking about food, and now we're talking about food again.
Hey, that's true. That's
We
true.
like food.
We do like food. You know that if I could you remember that movie Multiplicity?
Yep.
If I could clone myself, I would clone two of me. Okay?
I like pizza.
Stop.
He's my favorite one.
I do not like him. I find
He's the
him
funniest.
most annoying.
I like pizza.
If anyone's watched this movie, actually, I did not like the movie the first time I watched it. And then I watched it a second time with a more open mind, as I am doing recently, rewatching a lot of old movies with an open mind. And I'm finding, hey, my tastes have changed. And
Well,
I kind of like
that's a
certain
movie.
things.
That's a movie from I think it was the 80s, and it has that certain style.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, it was either the 80s or the 90s. I don't know.
I'll look it up as you're talking about it.
But I know that it has that style of movie that I don't think would fly today. I think people would not go to the theater to see it. But
because it's why boring?
well, no, it's just
96.
96. Really,
Wow.
that late?
Yeah. It's
I
just
was
because
off.
movies have come such a long ways that you look at anything, I think even like 2005 backwards, and just filming has taken huge leaps since then. But just to close what I was saying about cloning myself, okay, I'd clone myself into two different people. One person would be a history professor, okay? And I would have enough time to have attained all of the knowledge of history to teach any era in a university. That's how I see myself, okay?
Just for that reason?
Yeah, because I need a lot of time for it.
Okay.
So my life would have had to just be school for a long time.
And your other one?
And the other one would be paid by the Travel Channel to travel the world and taste food.
Except Australia.
I mean, I could travel with like people who could protect me.
I call baloney. You would not step off of a plane into Australia. Not that we have anything against Australia.
Why are you hating on Australia?
I'm not hating on Australia. You just have the biggest fear of spiders.
Oh, wow. Way to put me out there like that. That's a secret. You know why that's a
Not
secret?
anymore.
Do you know why it's a secret?
Why?
Because one day, Nick and I are going to go on Amazing Race. Nikki's our daughter, in case anyone's wondering. Okay, we're going to go on the Amazing Race. We already have plans for this, okay? And one of the things that they ask you in your application is, what are you afraid of? I'm not at all saying I'm afraid of spiders. I'm going to say I'm afraid of heights.
No, I will.
Okay.
If you're going to go do that, I'm going to tell them spiders.
Don't you want me to win $1 million?
Listen, I think it's worth $1 million.
I wouldn't do the challenge.
No. See, I don't know.
I would not do the challenge.
I think it
You
would be
can't
really
pay
interesting.
me enough to do anything with a spider at all.
It would be hilarious. It'd be good TV.
It would be. No, she and I will make good TV for sure. But anyway, I digress. We're getting off topic today because today, what are we talking about?
Well, today we're going to be talking about
Not 420.
not 420, and we already talked about Taco Tuesday. So, no, we're going to be talking about what it means to be a homeowner after you survive getting the keys. So, all the little things that just keep on having to happen in the house.
All the things no one tells you.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, throughout different parts in our life together, I've thought about, man, it'd be so good if there was, you remember those books, How to Code for Dummies? How to do a speech for dummies?
They have a homeowners for dummies.
Dang it, I wish I had known that. I would have purchased it just for this episode to see if the information in it is relevant or complete, just irrelevant, I guess. I don't want to bash them too much because I'm not really sure if they're good, but I remember they had a book for everything.
Yeah, they did.
And I was thinking,
But those were popular right at the end of the 90s, going into the beginning of 2000.
I wonder if they still write them.
I'm sure.
I've never read one, so I can't say good or bad things about them.
Yeah.
I just remember it was, I think their point was to make it in layman's terms, explaining hard things to you so that you would understand. But I've thought throughout our life, when it comes to marriage, parenting, being a homeowner, moving, cooking, like anything, right? I wish that there was a manual for how you do that, right? But now, where I am in life, I look back and I think, I don't know that it would be as helpful as I thought it would be because everyone has different experiences. And so the manual of our parenting isn't going to be like, wow, this is it. That's how you're supposed to parent. Because
what we
there's
did,
so many variables.
what we did 20 years ago doesn't work today.
Right. Right.
It
and so
has to adjust.
again, the variables, there's so many things that go into it. But I guess this is just like what we've learned about being homeowners for ourselves. And no one else may relate. Maybe other people relate.
Yeah. I'm sure some of the stuff kind of carries across, but like, I mean, we were extremely happy with our house. We saw our forever home, but it wasn't quite there yet.
And I don't know that we knew what there was because we have, how many times did we move before we purchased? Because that's
Goodness.
another thing. I feel like we moved a lot. And I'm going to do a little insert right now. I loathe moving. A friend of ours, okay, I was messaging to see because they're in the process of selling their home and stuff like that. And I messaged them just to find out, like, where were they in the packing and the moving out and all that stuff. And he said, hey, want to come help us pack? And I said, no, thank you. I loathe moving. I said it, right? They laughed. They thought it was hilarious, right? But it's the truth. Like, I will bring you food if you're moving. That's how I'll be a good friend, but I'm not packing. I think if we ever had to move, I'd hire a moving company.
We were not moving.
I'm traumatized.
We're not moving anymore.
I know we're not moving. I'm saying in a hypothetical,
So,
world.
okay, so hold on. So, when we got together, we moved into the efficiency. Sorry, Carlos, again. So, the efficiency, we moved down to my parents. And at my parents' house, we moved twice within the house.
That doesn't count. It's the same address.
So, just one? Okay. So, Carlos, down to my parents. Then we moved to
the duplex.
With
the scorpions. Mm-hmm. That's a story for another day.
That's a story for another day. The atriums. Mm-hmm. Bentry. Mm-hmm. Lakeshore. Mm-hmm.
Palm Breeze. Wow, this is our 8th move.
Wow.
That's a lot of moving.
In like 20 years? 21. No, in 16 years. We had 8 moves.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's like moving every 2 years.
Well, one of the moves.
Oh, I'm nauseated by it.
Well, one of the moves. I would say two of the moves were necessary.
Sure. I mean, that's neither here nor there, I think. I think it's
But I'm
just the
saying like
fact
like
that
those
how
would
many
be
times did you move as a child? Twice.
twice.
I mean, well, again, I moved twice. Let's put it like that because we moved into my parents' home when I was 8. So from there, I
Yeah, but
think
you
they lived
stayed.
in, but I don't really remember. I mean, I remember one place that we lived at, and I think we may have moved another time, but that's not common for people to move so much. We're
Well,
like
we when we
like
moved.
hobos.
Yeah, but when we moved from or the house I was brought home to after I was born, I was almost 12, and we moved down to the Keys, and then about a year and a half later, my parents bought a house. So, and then I was there through graduation. So,
And it's hard.
and we moved. I mean, we moved cities. So we moved from Miami down to the
And
Keys.
I'm just thinking about friends who are listening to the podcast who helped us move. You know how we are forever indebted to them and forever grateful to them
Yes.
because there's one thing that we've had for many years, I think, that people have had to help us move, and that is our mattress. Okay, because that mattress is like, I think, an original Tempur-Pedic type mattress. It's not the brand Tempur-Pedic, but we got that in kind of like a
It's a
shady
seedy
warehouse.
Posturepedic.
This guy was like, "Hey, come in here. I'm selling mattresses." We were looking for mattresses, and it was a warehouse full of mattresses. He's like, "Quick, give me cash, fast." I don't even know if he worked there.
We tied it to the top of the van and we're driving down the street.
And that's another story.
Yeah.
But like that thing weighs a ton.
Yeah,
I
it sure
think.
does.
Wow. So people who pick it up, they think, "Oh, it's nothing. It's a mattress," and then they
And
fall
then
over.
yeah, and then the thing is that it's not even solid. So when you stand it up on its side, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
wobbly legs, like falling all over the place.
Yeah, but anyway, so we've moved so much. So I think that when we bought our house, right? I know that everybody who's bought their first home, there is this almost surreal feeling of this is my house now. But also you don't like for me, right? I don't know if you felt the same thing, but it was a little overwhelming. Like I don't know what happens now. What does it mean that this is our home? Every place that we've lived in, we've had to ask for permission to paint. We've had to ask for permission to hang things, to put like even a video camera outside, like security camera. You've got to ask for permission. A satellite dish for your own TV, you've got to ask for permission. And now you're finally in a place where you don't have to ask for anything and you can do anything you want. You can fix anything you want. Everywhere we've been, we had maintenance. So if something broke, you call them to fix it because otherwise, you
And
might be charged.
well, funny story with that. So we
Yes, I think I know where you're going with this.
so we left from Palm Breeze. That was the last place we were at before coming here. And right before we left, I would say probably about less than a year before we left.
No, hun. It was on the day we left. We drove around looking for him.
Yeah, but I'm saying we became
Oh,
acquaint-
yeah, we
acquaintance.
established rapport.
Yeah, rapport. So we bought a new surround sound, and we had this other surround sound. I took it outside and I put a little paper on it that said free, and he knocks on the door and he's like, "Can I take this?"
Free.
Free. And he says, "Can I take it? Does it work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it works. It works fine." But it was a small system, and we upgraded, and he's like, "Oh, amazing! I'm going to Cuba. I'm leaving in a couple days, and I would love to take it with me." I'm like, "Great, go for it." So he took it, and then after that, we had a couple times where we needed something in the house or whatever, and he just kind of took care of it before. Like we didn't even need to call in to do a what's it called?
A work order.
A work order or whatever. He'd just come and he'd fix it for us or whatever. He was just really super friendly. So when we moved, we drove around looking for him, and we're like, I need to get this guy's number because we're probably going to need stuff at our house.
That was
and
really smart.
and he's
Really
gonna
smart of us.
he's gonna be, awesome. And here we are, almost 5 years later, and we still call him for stuff.
And it's so funny because, I mean, I don't know how people view this, but so many times people ask you for a recommendation on, oh, do you know a good handyman and all this stuff? And I'm a little cautious about recommending people, okay? But not because I'm unsure of what kind of work he's going to do for you, because I know he does phenomenal work and he's honest and he doesn't ever charge you more than is necessary to complete the job, okay? But because I don't want people to take him away from us.
How are they going to take him away from us?
I don't know.
It's not like they're going to lock him up in the basement.
Maybe
Like, he's mine.
Yes, he's so good.
So anyway, so we still use him, and that was that was something that was very useful right at the beginning, because we had. So the previous owner was very interesting in how he did.
No, he was very DIY driven.
Extremely DIY, and there's still stuff today, 5 years later, that
We're discovering.
that we're discovering as we go through room by room fixing stuff in the house and upgrading and whatever. Very interesting stuff. But so we kind of needed him at the beginning to kind of help us figure out some electrical stuff that was going on, and there were a couple other little things, but we've been very grateful to have him. But so we get the keys, we come into the house, and we go running. Like, we start painting,
Well, and that's what I was going to say, is that because we didn't know what ours was yet, or what was our style in a forever home, in a home that 2 years from now we're not having to move again, we moved with whatever style we had at our previous home, which was sort of a little mixture of primitive
we had
modern art. Because we remember that big canvas of orchids that you bought. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yep.
And it was pretty, but it just, like, I feel like our house didn't have,
it fit,
our decor didn't have.
It fit the space that we needed to cover. Because remember, we had the electrical panel at the other.
That's true. We were covering that.
And we were looking for something to go on there.
Because it was so ugly and in the way.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we found that, and that's what it was.
And we had our walls full of pictures. But what I'm trying to say is, like, we didn't have a specific style.
Right.
It was just a little mixture of different things that we liked and different things that we, I guess that were necessary or that fit the need that we had, right? So when we came here, we sort of brought all of that, and so we kind of painted to fit that.
Kind of so half of a deviation, because that's not really too much of a deviation, but so we were living in a 1,035 square foot apartment, and we moved into a 2,500 square foot house. And we brought everything that we had, absolutely everything, and we put it into this house, and then looked around, and it looked like a warehouse, because it was just empty spaces and all kinds of stuff that was going on.
I mean, the space, yes. The space was a huge thing, right? And so that was the other thing, is, like, again, because we didn't have a specific style, we didn't really know what it was we were going for, right? So we kind of spread things out, but...
And the layout didn't help either, because it was very different from what we had.
Very, very. But, like, now we had an extra room, right? Mm-hmm. And so that extra room initially became an office.
Yep.
Right? Initially, that was an office. And it was good because you were starting up a business, and so you had your space to do that. Our kids were homeschooled still during that time. Mm-hmm. And so there was a space to put school books and, to have a computer and all of that stuff.
And that we actually used what we already had. That was extremely crammed in, and we expanded on it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But it was extremely crammed in at the apartment.
I can't believe that's the thing. I couldn't believe how much stuff we had. It fit into a small space, because when you put it here, it fit. When you say warehouse, I feel like that's a little bit inaccurate because I do feel like everything settled in nicely. Maybe the warehouse feel is because we weren't as packed as we had been in other places, and so
Right.
it felt
There
more
were there
empty.
like our living room had like a gap behind the couches,
Yeah,
and we had
which
turned the
took me a little
couches.
while
Yeah, we
to
had the
figure it
couches
out.
facing away from the front door because that's where the TV was. Like we didn't choose where to put the TV.
Yeah,
We were like, oh, the cable's there. That's where the
yeah,
TV is
yeah,
going. So
yeah.
like we didn't make it ours until we really started to go at
Right,
it. And
right.
the first thing that we did when we got here, well, I think we took a couple showers, and we felt the water was different.
Or are we going from play by play here?
Well, I'm just saying like what we started with. We're not gonna go pay. We won't finish.
We will never finish.
Stick around after this break. We will start the 19th hour of this marathon.
Oh my gosh.
But no,
The
like
water.
yeah, the
Okay,
water.
hold on. Hold on. So, just a quick little note, okay? We have a very good friend of ours who was in the Army, Special Forces, okay? And this man has been around the world and has been in the most like crazy places that one could think, okay? He's had to have the nastiest water because it's the only water that's around to drink. All
Yeah.
right. So that man is afraid of nothing. He is fearless and he is a hero that we look up to.
And
Okay.
he comes and when he comes to your house, he's like, "Can I have a glass for water?" And you're like, "You want a glass of water?" He's like, "No, give me a glass for water." He'll walk over to the tap, open the tap, and that's what he's drinking.
Yeah.
No ice, nothing.
Nothing.
Just straight out of the tap.
Right. So in the previous place that we lived, we had him over, him and his family, and he went and grabbed water. And the thing is, one thing I noticed in that last place that we lived is that when you pour water from the tap, there's things swimming in your water. Okay? There's like little bits of things. I've never seen water so dirty before. And I'm sure that, people have experienced different things in different places because, I think that even depends on where you live in our city that you get that in the water. I'm not sure because, anyway.
Well, we're not that far.
I told him, please don't drink that water. That water is bad. Like, I don't even know why. When we would boil water for pasta or anything like that, the water would create like this white, foamy sediment on it. I had to start cooking with bottled water because it was just so dirty. I've never seen anything like that before. And he was like, no, I'm fine. I've had worse water. He took one sip of it and he put it down and he was like, yeah, I'll take a bottle of water. And I was like, oh my God, we've defeated him.
Yeah,
So when we moved here,
yep.
that's
So
why.
the first thing we did was we called one of these companies for the water softening, and we got a water softener for the whole house. And let me tell you, if you have your own place and you can put in a water softener, I promise you it's worth every penny.
100%. That's been worth every penny.
Every penny. You shower differently. Your skin feels differently. Like if we go somewhere and we're there for a few days and we shower, we're like, God, I want to go home. Where's my?
You can feel it.
Where's my shower?
You can feel it.
So-
So that was our first big investment into our house.
Yep.
And then not even to mention just there is sediment in our water here. So even like what that's doing for the longevity of our pipes.
Yep.
So it's really an investment. It wasn't just a luxury thing. It was an investment and to know that we have that filtered water. We don't have to, spend money on filters and stuff like that. So,
Right. We can drink water from we can drink water from our hose,
yes. Right.
which I won't, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we went through the whole painting and moving in and kind of settling in, and then our next big investment that we did.
Well, were you talking about the front of the house?
No,
Okay.
the trying to save on trying to save some money because we got a little bit of a shock.
Well, yeah, and I want to say something. Like that was another thing. Like we didn't seek out the water people. Well, that's another thing I found out here is that I guess they know that this is a community of homeowners. So there's people on Saturday morning that are knocking door to door selling you stuff. Impact windows, roofing, fences, water, filtration systems, and
Solar panels.
solar panels. And so Florida had some sort of
Yeah, so there was a program that was just starting.
and it may still be out because I kind of
It's
hear
still,
that
yeah,
there's
it's still
something
around,
right.
but it was just starting. I think it was just starting during that time, or maybe we just didn't hear about it. But we
Yeah, there's a
started.
lot of things that you hear differently when you're a homeowner that you never heard about before.
Yeah. So I started inquiring about it a little bit, trying to get more information, and in a long roundabout way, come to find out that I know someone who is in the business and whatnot. So we start working on getting some information for the solar panels. And again, it was something that was very brand new. And
For us,
yeah, for
maybe
us.
not for other people.
And well, we were the first in our neighborhood to do it
Right. And
because
so
I remember the association was curious about it.
yeah, that's true. But one of these things is just, again, kind of similar to when we were buying a house. It's the things that you think you know about buying a house and then the reality of what it is to buy a house. And here it was what you think solar panels are versus what they really are.
Right.
And there was, I don't know what you think about it, but in hindsight, I feel like we didn't do a good job researching.
We didn't. We definitely didn't.
The program sounded good, and just give a brief, like, what was the program? There was
Yeah,
some sort of
so-
tax break you were going to get.
Right. So the program it's called Y Green. It's just energy spelled backwards, but
Why green? No.
yeah, it's energy spelled backwards.
But energy spelled backwards.
ENERGY.
Wait.
Why green?
Green. Green ends with an N, and energy starts with an E.
I know, but the E could be silent.
Stop it. You're making this up.
I'm dead serious.
Okay, continue talking.
So, they essentially what they do is they lend you the money to be able to put the solar panels, and then you got 18 months where you don't have to pay it back, and then it goes on to your taxes, and you pay it back over a certain amount of time or whatever. But that was kind of the only little bit of information that I got, and we were like, cool.
What did we hear? We hear tax break. The government will pay for this because it's a program, and you're going to get money back when you do it. Those are the three
and
things.
our energy, right? And our
and
electric bill was going to be
$8.
$9 or whatever.
Okay. We're gonna feud over a dollar here. These 4 things were the things that we heard. Okay. And
it was an immediate upgrade that we could do to our house that was going to benefit us.
because let me tell you,
Yeah.
that was another thing.
That was the big shocker for us.
The shocker of that energy bill. I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but I don't even know that we're talking about summertime, but on a regular, we're almost at $400 a month in electric bill.
Yeah, we were in a townhome and our electric bill was $130.
I know. And then the shocker of, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so I was looking for relief quickly because of just how expensive it was. And you hear 18 months, and I'm like, we can just save all of our electric bills for 18 months and be able to pay a big chunk of it and then take back the tax credit and throw it back in there. And it moved so quickly, and we made a decision so quickly.
Right. And you have to remember, like, these people, they're salesmen,
Yep.
And they're selling you a product that I think this is, how they've been taught to sell. So I always think, like, I wish that there was somebody out there who would tell you both sides of the story.
Well, we've been able to help.
I feel like we have
couple
been able
people
to
with it,
help.
so.
Yes,
And let me put this out there. We're 5 years in, right? So, like, looking back, is the benefit worth it? I think so, for sure. There's savings in it. But would I have done it differently? Yes. I think I would have probably waited a little bit and understood it a little bit better so that I could be better prepared for it.
Yeah, because I think that that was the shocking part, right? So we're all on board. They're showing us like their own electric bills that are at $9, right? So, I mean, I felt in a way that we did have proof of, okay, this works. We saw that the program was legitimate, right? And so we went ahead and we did this. But initially, right off the bat, there was some sort of miscommunication, and we ended up
Yeah, there was a
getting
we weren't in the house long enough for us to have an accurate number of what our electric bill was going to be. So when they
right,
did the math, the panels that we originally put on the house weren't enough.
right, right.
And
So
then
now
we
we have a shortage.
right. So we have a shortage. So now we have an electric bill on top of everything else.
Right.
And we were able to, work back and forth and get the extra
A
panels,
resolution, yeah,
the extra
yeah.
panels that we needed to get onto the house. And, there were, thankfully, the owner was, he jumped in, he got involved, and he really worked with us to get us where we kind of needed to be.
Right. But then came the big shocker,
and then
the KO here.
And here's where it kind of got interesting. We get through the first 18 months, where okay, now it's gonna be put onto, your taxes, the white green part of it. And all of a sudden our mortgage took a jump because our property taxes now have incurred this extra bit of money that
Debt,
needs to
I
be
guess.
that needs to be paid back, and we just weren't ready for
And then
it.
we get the L word. There's a lien on our house.
Yeah. Well, that's what that was.
Right. But we didn't know this. Right. And so now there's like all of these things that are coming up that we didn't know about beforehand. That I feel like, again, that's one of those things where I wish that in any field that you go to, salesmen only tell you a certain part. They don't tell you all the other stuff. And I think maybe in a way it's because they don't want to confuse you. They don't want you to not buy their product, right? I don't know that it's, and I'm not going to defend them in this, I don't know that it's purposeful deception, but there is purposeful omission.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now we have a lien. Our mortgage has gone up because we have this debt. And wow.
Right.
Right?
And then so that lien is for a certain amount of time, and we had chosen 10 years because we didn't want to have that sit for the whole forever.
Mind you that when we said yes to it, we said yes to a 10-year loan.
Right.
We didn't say yes to a 10-year lien.
Right. And so those were
They both start with L, but they both mean different things.
So I immediately, now being a more educated homeowner, having been doing this now for 2 years, still not knowing very much, but learning, I'm like, okay, I've got to fix this. And what I find out that I need to do is I need to refinance. So now 2 years into being in our home, we just reset the clock and started our 30-year mortgage again.
I mean, I'm pulling my hair. Okay? I'm sure other people are like, and you know what? Even then,
Well,
I'm gonna put this out
3
as
years.
okay, but I'm gonna say this. Even then, maybe that was not even the right option.
Right. I was just
I think it was a knee-jerk reaction, and we just like, okay, we did that, and there could have been something else that we did, but we didn't do it because we were just trying to, again, find a solution quick and get moving, right?
Right. So I end up doing the refinance on the house, after just being here for the short time that we were, and we put all that wrapped up together so that there wouldn't be any lien on the house or any of that kind of stuff. So
for 8 months, we had to come up with extra mortgage to pay because we were in the middle of negotiating and talking with the mortgage company who was talking to the city to explain to them, look, we don't actually have a lien. This is a loan. This is what's going on. And it was paperwork after paperwork. Okay, well, you need to get your your taxes reassessed, and the city was like, we don't reassess taxes until November. And it was this entire mess of us having to pull out money that we didn't even have.
And we were never going to get back.
Right. Okay. So that was kind of scary for those 8 months. And
Right.
yet
And
somehow
then-
we always had enough to pay our mortgage.
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
Well, at the end of all that,
It was completely unexpected.
right. At the end of all that, once all the dust settled, then we got back to a normal mortgage rate.
And we were looking forward to one thing. We were going to pay off this debt quickly with the money we were going to get back on our income tax
yeah.
from the solar panels.
Yeah, sorry. So we were supposed to get back 30% on that tax. And the first year we got a nice little chunk, which we had to reinvest back in to get the remaining panels that we needed. Right? And then we were like, we'll just get the other part of it and throw it in there. I'm still waiting.
We're still waiting.
And every single year when we do our taxes, we just roll over that money.
And with no explanation as to why we haven't gotten it.
Yeah, I think this year I got like $31 of it.
So, and that's something like, who are you going to fight? The IRS, the government? Like,
Yeah.
who are you going to complain to? So that's yet another thing that was, go into it with your eyes open. Would we do the solar panels again? Yes. Are we saving money?
Absolutely.
100%. Okay. We are. Is our bill at $9?
It's not.
It's not.
But there are other factors that go into that.
Yes.
So what happens when you go into a new house is you start finding out that there's other things that are going on. So we started to look at the house and say, okay, well, we want to do X, Y, and Z. And one of the things that we didn't realize because we weren't living here was that there are certain parts of the house that were just hot. Like the AC wasn't enough for it. And even though we really wanted a garage as part of what we were looking for when we purchased the home.
Right, because remember, that was one of our two.
Yeah. What we found out was that the garage wasn't really as useful as we thought it was going to be. And we started looking at that room as something different. So what we actually ended up doing was closing off the garage, creating an amazing office space with, with a nice storage closet, for us to be able to use what we needed. And then...
and a second, almost like a little baby living room?
Yeah.
I guess.
Like really
an
nice space.
Entertainment room.
Yeah, we hung a TV up. We have our office in here. Like it's just
couch,
it's
games.
It's
for
actually
the kids.
where we're sitting now.
Yes, but I'm sorry. Let me just circle back to the panels because I know we're moving on to something else right now. Another thing that is just versus reality versus what you think. People when they think solar panels, okay, the sun is powering my house. That isn't exactly how it works.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that
so
was
what-
another
yeah.
thing we had to learn.
So what you're actually doing is you're selling your power to FPL
which is our
or
electric company.
your electric
down here.
company, and then they use that to offset your bill. So let's say
Exactly.
your panels create 100 kilowatt hours. I'm just using a round number just so whatever. It generates 100 kilowatt hours and you use 100 kilowatt hours, then your bill is flat. But if you only produce 100 kilowatts and you use 120, you pay for the 20.
Right.
So you just pay for the difference.
Right. And so the other thing is if it's cloudy, that you're not going to get the same thing.
Right. You don't have the same production.
You constantly have to be
different
checking the panels to make sure that they're all operating because sometimes they accidentally.
Yeah,
I have no idea how.
it'll trip
Right.
trip a breaker
Right.
or
And so they're not working and you were supposed to be producing and you haven't been producing. And then the big one was when the hurricane hit, I thought, hey, solar panels, we're going to have at least a fan. Nope.
Yep,
You
nothing.
need a special battery to
Right.
convert your energy into usable energy into your house. So we still, I feel, are not using our solar panels to the potential that they have.
Right. We still need
because
to
there's
do
more
that.
investment
Right.
required.
We still need to do that last bit of investment with the battery to be able to use in the house apart from being stuck with using our electric company, which will be something that we eventually will do in the future. But it was stuff that you learn as you kind of go through, and part of it was just the fact that we were naive to home ownership and what it required for us to do outside of, oh cool, this is something that's going to help us, go do it, run.
Yeah. But now back to the garage. I mean, that's one of those funny things where we thought we wanted something and it was useful for the time that we had it, but we were noticing that it was becoming more of a dumping ground, especially when you have kids, where everything just goes to die there, and then there's a terrible mess that, every month.
And then you spend a whole Saturday out in the garage cleaning.
Oh gosh, So I think it was fun. Like, okay, we did the garage thing. We're done with it now.
Yep.
Right.
And we created the space, and that it required for us to run.
And it's great because it's almost soundproof, so it's great to watch a movie here. It's dark.
Yeah, there's no windows.
No windows or anything like that.
But we needed to run AC, and we were like, okay, is our AC going to support that? And so we had an AC check, and what we ended up finding out was that the AC was literally at its last leg. Like it was hooked up to the ICU machines.
Right, but not only that, it was already too small for the size of the house.
Right. At the regular size of the house.
At the regular
size. It was
size.
way too small.
Right.
So we had to go and get an AC. So here is, an expense that we weren't prepared for.
Yes, and this is the beginning of that too, right? Is that I'm sure that like once you become a homeowner, you have dreams about what you want to do to your house. You want to put in a pool, you want to, build an extra whatever it is, whatever your dream is, right? And you've got that, and then you've got your unexpected expenses, which we found out soon enough that we needed to create like a little separate fund for, because I knew our appliances were going to go at one point, so you're expecting that, but you're not expecting that the AC unit is too small. And now you've got to replace this entirely enormous thing.
And that was an expense. Like I was surprised at what that cost. But let me tell you, we essentially we doubled the unit because it was a 3.5 ton unit, and we went to a
5-ton unit,
5.5 ton unit, and it was like world of a difference.
Oh my gosh,
it was
amazing.
The whole house.
Before, our AC never shut off. It would run all day long, which again, what good are solar panels if your AC's never shutting off?
Right.
So these are things that we didn't know that this was affecting it this way.
So now, now the AC does turn off. It cools the house down quicker, those things.
It controls humidity.
Right.
I love it.
But it is a huge unit.
Yeah.
So it sucks up power.
Yeah.
So now the panels that we've adjusted and brought up so that we can be at that lower bill are no longer valid because we're using more energy. And that's just naturally.
So we need more panels.
Which we're not going to get because it's just, it's going to be just us here in a few years. And,
Yeah.
We don't need that, but
so that was an unexpected expense, right? And then, like the front of our house, if you listened to our podcast last week, then you saw the picture on our Instagram. Is that on our website as well?
yes.
Okay, so on our website and Instagram, then you would have seen the picture of our house because we used to do drive-bys at all hours of the time. I felt like people were watching us like, what are these people doing here? We were stalking the house. Okay, because we were just like in love with it, so we'd drive by. But our house was covered in a green vine, which when we originally moved here, I found very endearing. Okay, we live on a street that's called Bluebird Lane. It's magical. And you've got this green vine just growing in the house. I just thought about, I don't know, it was very Disney-esque, okay? I thought it was really
Yeah.
cute.
Little did we know.
Oh, little did we know that this vine, sure, like you could take the trimmer to it and make it look very nice. And it was very
And we
different
did
because,
we did that for a long time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I don't know. I
Well,
think we
well, I'll tell you what happened. Okay. So one day, as I'm cleaning our very big window in the living room, right, I notice that there's a ray of light that's just hitting me in a weird way. And I'm following that light, and then I see that I can stick a pencil from the inside of our house to the outside of the house, straight through.
I forgot about that.
Yes. And I was like, wait, what is happening here? The entire frame of our window, there's parts that are crumbling that you can see into the outside. So we, upon closer inspection, we see that this beautiful vine,
Yeah, it's literally breaking through the concrete
unbelievable.
into the house.
And it was a stubborn thing because we tried to kill it and it just kept coming back.
Yep.
I'm surprised actually it hasn't grown back now. But
Well, I
in a
ripped
fit
it out
of
of the
rage
roots.
one day, okay.
Yeah, so in a fit of rage, I was like, I'm done with this thing. Done.
It was so shocking because I think you went outside to just, I don't know what you
I
were
was gonna,
doing
I was
outside,
gonna cut off like the edges close to the window and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna
right?
trim this back and be done with it. And mind you, in the picture, it only shows it going half of the window, but by this time, it had already almost made it to our front door.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, screw this, I'm done. I start grabbing it and ripping it off of the wall.
Right.
It was eating through the stucco and concrete to go through the window. What do you think it was doing to the wall? I start ripping chunks of wall.
And this is not exaggerated at all, okay?
It
But by
was-
this time, okay, and it came off as like one unit. Remember, it was like this
Yeah, like
giant
a big
blanket
old,
that
like,
just fell
blanket,
off.
yep.
Okay, and so at this time now, it's impossible to put it back up. And now it looks like someone has taken a gray marker and just created lines all over the front of our house because of where it was ripping the stucco and the paint from
Yep.
the wall.
And the big chunks that were coming out, it looked like the house was like shot at.
Yes.
Like it had like bullet holes all through it. It was a mess.
So we go from being a magical house to being probably the ugliest house in the neighborhood, perhaps.
We
okay?
were the ugliest house.
The ugliest house in the neighborhood. So, I'm thinking, great. Why did you have to do this? Why did you have this wonderful idea of doing this? You're like, oh, I just didn't want to see it anymore. Okay,
just
great.
like that?
Just like that. Okay.
Yeah, thanks a
So
lot.
now it's like, okay, we don't have money to paint the house. How do you even paint a house this size, right? And we have to fix all of these holes, right? So I told you I had this great idea because I had just recently really gotten into Pinterest. I was starting to dream about what our house could be. And of course, anybody who knows
This
me
idea,
knows,
so this idea came before the fire pit in the back.
no, you're right. You're right. No, because Pinterest did inspire that. But I'm saying like this is relatively around the same time that we're doing this stuff, right? But anyway, anybody who knows me knows that Joanna Gaines, huge inspiration, okay? The whole modern farmhouse look. That's been what my board is slowly amassing. This is what the guest bedroom is going to look like, and the master bedroom, and the living room, and all of that stuff, right? So I'm thinking, great, let's see what I can come up with to liven up the house a little bit because it looks terrible. So we put some money in and did some landscaping, right? I had seen some really interesting things done with planters hung vertically to plant flowers in them. So there's this huge empty wall in front of our house that now looks like it has been massacred and shot at and written with a Sharpie, okay? And so now that is what we're going to use to cover up all of that. We used the pallets. We put flowers. We did landscaping. I had you build me some shutters for the side of the window to cover up the holes. Okay. And hey, there were
It,
people who would come by and say, "Hey, that's really, really cool, and that's amazing." I think that's the first time we got noticed on in the
in the
neighborhood.
neighborhood, yeah. It was listen, it was a good
It
placeholder.
was a good cover up. But I think that there's somebody from the
But
association who
listen,
drives
hold on.
by.
The phrasing is there. If you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig.
It's still a pig, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it held. It held for a few months. It held through the Christmas season. And then right about, spring of the following year, somebody sent us a letter. I noticed them outside of our house too taking pictures. And then we got a letter from the association saying your house needs to be painted.
Yeah, that whole front
All
wasn't
that
right.
stuff
This is
has to
not.
come
Yeah.
down. You don't have permission to hang stuff. That was the first time that I realized that, whoa, there's an association we answer to.
Yeah,
I thought it was just for the pool.
Yeah, it was really the first time we had any issues at all.
Yes.
And
And I think in any neighborhood that you live, you don't want to be noticed by the association for anything bad. Only
Nope.
good things.
nope. Yeah.
So I think that's a rule of thumb that everybody knows. And if you don't know, you heard it here
Yeah,
first.
now you know.
Okay.
So we pull everything off. We have, contractors start coming out to take a look at it and try and figure out what we need to do. And of
there's
course,
a very specific thing that I want, right?
right,
So
but
there's
we remember we had said we're like, okay, let's just get it painted so
Right.
that at least we can just hold off.
right.
And then the contractor came and he's like, no, you can't. You have to fix it. It's such a mess. And here we go into this foray of spending money that we didn't have.
Unexpected again. I mean, we did have something put away in case of an emergency, except this emergency was a little bit more than we
Not
expected.
that much.
Okay. So, when they came out, that's another thing is like, I think they can only quote you from what they see. But then when you get underneath, like we didn't know that we had rotten wood beams that needed to be pulled out.
Yeah, it was like $1,500 on top of what was quoted because of the things that were found. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we were taken for a ride because the guy was very, very specific in coming and saying, "Hey,
And
look."
we had already seen his work before,
Yeah,
so we
and-
knew he did amazing work.
And he would show it to us and be like, "Hey, listen, look, I'm going to show you this. This needs to be replaced. I can paint over it. I can fix it and just kind of make it whatever, but you're going to have a problem
Right.
in 6
And if you're
months."
investing into something like that, so our association has this book online that you can choose the color of your house, but it can only be a certain range of colors, right? So if I want to paint my house dark navy blue, that's not allowed. You can use that as an accent color. You can't use that as the main color.
There's like 250 colors to pick from.
Exactly, right? So I had to sit there and go through it because I knew that I wanted something that was in a blue gray range, but something light to give it, just a more modern farmhouse look. This was the first time that we were going to start, giving our house a specific style. And so I researched hardy planks that make it look like, I guess, wood shingles on the outside, but they last forever because they're made out of
it's like
fiberglass.
like a fiberglass PVC mixture. Or
Right.
whatever.
So it gave us this like wood shingles look on that giant wall that was covered with pallets before. That was just so beautiful. And the color we ended up picking was stunning. It was everything that I wanted it with white trim. All of a sudden, we became the talk of the neighborhood.
Well, not to take any credit away from the color of the house, but the landscaper that I know very well. That
Okay,
guy's
let me
pretty
talk
cool
really
guy.
quick about the landscaper. Okay, so I had a conversation with you about there's a specific kind of landscaping I want. Okay, and it's more of a northern style. And for anybody who lives up north, I know that a lot of those round bushes that I see are holly because my brother has some of those. But I'm just in love with the different kind of wildflowers, green, a lot of green in the front, and those round bushes, right? So I showed you a picture and I told you I want you to make this happen. not anything of the local South Florida plants that you see, which is a lot of tropical plants, and it's just stuff that I don't like. Like I again loathe moving. I loathe palm trees with a passion. Okay, I loathe palm trees more than moving. So I didn't want anything to resemble that we were down here. I wanted it so that when people drove down the street, they were like, "This house doesn't belong here."
Right.
That's what we were going for.
So
And the
and I'm
landscaper I hired was excellent. Highly recommend him.
yeah. So if you haven't figured it out yet, my business is landscaping, and so here I am trying to figure out
How to make that
how the
happen.
heck do I make this happen? I'm used to putting in palm trees. I'm used to putting in
Bromeliads and
I'm like that's the stuff I know how to do, and I'm like this customer's hard for me. I'm gonna fire her. So so I went on a hunt and I found things that would do well down here, and I gave the front of our house a look that looks like we're up north using plants and stuff that was from the south. So
yeah,
it was
but not commonly used stuff. Because there's a
right.
lot of stuff that we have that's not commonly used, and so the little round balls in the front we use like a Japanese boxwood, So
that
and
that that isn't used down here very often because it takes so long to grow.
And I'm okay with it because the way that it fit underneath our house was just perfect. And a little bit, not too long ago, we ended up planting an oak tree in the front of the house as well, which was a dream of mine to have a tree in front of the house. I just imagine this tree that's going to give us enormous shade, but it's also because I love sitting outside to watch people. Okay. And it's too hot.
Get off my lawn.
It's too hot, especially like during Halloween, having a tree that you could decorate and light up. And I don't know, there's just so many things that I love about, a tree and a good, nice oak tree.
And we lost, we had a loquat tree in the front,
And the
and
hurricane.
the hurricane took it. But
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a baby right now, but you did get it pretty tall.
baby, that thing's 15 feet tall.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, that's still a baby. It's going to grow to 40.
Yeah.
So I grew up with an oak tree in my house, and my dad planted that from a seed. A seed. I will never forget how he took that seed and he said, one day this is going to be a huge tree. And we're going to sit under it and we're going to have, like family time underneath it. And I mean, my dad is a dreamer like me. So the way that he talks was just like, oh, it just like riles you up, right? And we planted that tree. And I know I forgot about that tree. Okay. And he must have cared for it. My mom must have cared for it. And that tree grew enormous. Like it had orchids on it. It had a rose bush that grew and tangled itself all on it. It was such a beautiful, beautiful tree. And just like my dad said, we did have lunches and dinners and family things underneath it. And I can't believe that it took so many years for it to get like that. So for me, I don't know. There's a special connection with an oak tree. And of course, I love the acorns. And I can't wait to see squirrels running up because we don't see squirrels in our backyard, probably because we have dogs.
Probably.
So that's probably it. But
yeah, so that whole project,
it completely changed our house. Completely changed our house. I mean, we had neighbors who were stopping by saying, "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you." Neighbors we've never spoken to. But
down
who
the
did
street
your house?
neighbors.
Who did your house? Who did your landscaping? I'm married to him.
So that really started the inspiration.
Yeah.
As to the character that our house was going to take. And it went there, and from there we went into the living room, and kind of started working in there. And this was the first thing that Ketmia says to me, she says, "This is what I want." And I was like, no, it doesn't make sense. There's no way that that's going to be, that's not going to work. It's going to look weird. It's not going to, she's like, trust me,
I
trust me,
said,
trust
Chip,
me. Yeah, Chip. And
just do what I say, okay?
so I did what she said, and we painted, and we put that together, and it was just really, it was weird to see that.
The transformation, because there was even we're going to change the way that the TV is facing and the couch is facing, and we're going to go away from the old couch that we had, because at this point we had decided that, hey, everyone should have their own recliner, right? So we had 4 recliners. Instead of a couch, we had 4 recliners. This wasn't really practical when we had people over, right? Because then only 4 people were going to sit comfortably. But our kids loved it.
Yep.
Everybody got to recline and be in their own chair and do their own thing, right? But we wanted to have something that was more, I don't know, inviting for more people to sit together and stuff. So we ended up going with a sectional couch, which I thought I would never want to do, because it constricts you to, you've got to have it in a specific place because that's how it fits. But all of a sudden, the inspiration opened up our living room so big that we ended up getting the extra large couch, sectional couch that they had, and it fit amazing.
Yeah, so we flip our living room. We do this entire paint job.
And I tell you, I want you to do wainscoting throughout the living room and the hallway and the dining room and all this stuff. And you're like, what? We're going to hang wood on the wall?
I'm like, what are you talking about? This is crazy.
I was like, look, just grab your tools.
Yeah,
Let's go to Lowe's.
Yeah, so
Lowe's should sponsor us. Lowe's, we're there every weekend, okay, if you're listening.
We sure are. And so I started doing research as to how this whole thing is supposed to happen. And I modified it a little bit to make it work for us, because the look that we wanted just required a little bit of a different, I guess, a little bit of a different finesse to it.
And just so that people are aware, I think, like, our look is, it is more modern farmhouse, but it is very rustic. So perfection, it is not in any of the plans ever. I think that the more imperfect something is actually fits better with our style.
And that's hard for me.
Yes.
Because I'd like to do it.
You're a type A.
Yeah. Anyways, so here we are. We're working through it, right? We do the living room. We paint the living room. We change out the living room. And we're just like, whoa. That was an incredible transformation in that first room.
Just the color.
Just the
changing
color.
The color
yeah, it was incredible. And we're like, well, let's do the hallway. We'll go all the way right up to the dining room. And we went all the way right up to the dining room, painted. And then you'd walk into the house. We have this amazing front of the house, amazing living room. You walk into the dining room and you're like, the dining room needs it. Oh, the dining room needs it. And this is something you look at every single day. So what do?
Wait, because mind you, we have to say this too, like, these renovations, they're going to happen a little bit back to back because we were in quarantine.
Right.
So you're staring at this.
You're staring. Yeah, you're staring at it all the time.
It's screaming at you.
Yep. So we start doing and just doing and doing and doing, and one of the things that really started to stand out, because we were changing the walls and like everything so much, was the fact that we had 7 different floors in the house, and we were like, we got to do the floors. The floors are going to be a huge...
And to me, mind you, the floors, they were a dream from the moment I walked in, because we had Spanish tile in 3 of the bedrooms. And
yeah, we had Spanish tile, we had 4 different types of tile, we had wood, we had concrete floors. It was
Right.
just, yeah.
And that's another thing. It's like when we did the garage, when we turned it into something else, we left the garage, the original garage floor in here. We just washed it, cleaned it, did everything, but we left it because we knew eventually we were going to do the floor and we didn't want to invest into a floor here and then have them come out into a floor again.
Right.
Right. So you are walking on concrete anytime you come into the office. Right. So the floors was something that I dreamt about. And this is, this is another thing is, again, the speed with which this happened was, I think, unnatural for most people who are homeowners because we had always, and anytime we would get into talking about home renovations, we would talk about the list of, okay, first we're going to do this project and then we're going to do this project. And we always go through our list and I would send him pictures of Pinterest and, okay, this is kind of the color scheme I'm going for. This is kind of what I envision for the bathroom and all that stuff. But I was thinking, in the next 10 years, we're going to do all of these things. So the floor was like a distant dream.
Yeah, it was. But
then-
because of my type A personality, I was like, it was bothering me. I was like, we've got to do something. We got to do something. We got to do something. And we end up, dude, were the floors done first before we did the dining room? I don't remember now. They were done almost at the same time.
No, they were done after. They were done before the dining room. Because I remember all the signs that one of the guys who was installing the floors, he's like, where do you get all your signs?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so the floors were done. And then we were like...
And I'm just going to plug something real quick in there, okay? Anybody who's had floors done, you feel me right now, okay? Of all the renovations that we've done, that is the one that is the most painful one for me to live through. All right. You have to, and I think we had it easy. Okay. Because they didn't have to tear up any of our floors. Mm-hmm. They just put floor on top of the floor we had, which was amazing.
And they had to just do filler where the Spanish tile
wherever
was.
it needed it. But you've got to empty out everything from the rooms.
We literally moved within our own house.
Yes. We were playing Tetris within our own house. We slept on the couch for 2 days among we had to make a little path for us to get to the couch, you and I, because we didn't have a bedroom for 2 days.
Well,
why didn't we have a bedroom for 2 days?
Okay,
I wonder.
So we had wood floor in our bedroom. It was the only room in the house that actually had something that was upgraded. And the floor guys, they start taking up the wood floor and they find water.
Not a ton of water that you could step on and it was coming out, but it is wet.
It's wet. And they're like, well, let's trace this back. And as they trace it back, where does it lead? It leads
Where does it lead?
Our bathroom. Mm-hmm. So in the middle of us putting in this entire house floor that was super expensive.
Which, by the way, we did wood floors throughout the house.
Yeah.
Dream come true. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
All of a sudden,
they're like, your bathroom.
You're investing a lot of money into this new floor.
Yeah, you need to get this fixed ASAP. So
Yes.
now I'm running, looking for someone who can completely renovate our bathroom at the same time that they are putting down our floor in the quickest amount of time so that they can put the floor in. It was a disaster.
And mind you, again, the bathroom, I thought was 20 years from now we were going to renovate our bathroom. Because for some reason, I think that the master bedroom is always the last one to get done. Or maybe that's just how we do it. But I didn't ever think we were going to do a renovation on our bathroom.
Listen, we have to put a picture of the bathroom before.
We're going to put pictures of all of this stuff
because,
up.
oh my goodness.
Okay.
Listen, let me tell you. Like little 6x6 tiles, white tiles on the floor.
Pepto-Bismol colored shower.
Shower. it was
It's the
screaming
80s,
80s. Yeah.
70s, 80s, yeah. So, but anyway, the guy who came to do our bathroom, because we thought maybe it's just a quick patch. Maybe he can just find the leak. And he said, I got to break into the wall here because it's got to be that your bottom part is cracked and it's leaking and it's been leaking over time.
Yep.
Okay. So now you're talking about you've got to wreck our shower for that. How much is it to renovate the bathroom?
So we go through that. We had, listen, if we were
We
gonna
had
do
no
it,
bathroom. We had no room.
yeah.
Dust for
listen,
years
we
to
ended
come.
up we ended up doing it. We were just like, just do it, go. And we ended up doing an entire bathroom completely brand new, from top to bottom.
Shockingly beautiful.
Shockingly beautiful. Yes.
I love our bathroom.
Let's see. So as that's happening, well, while they were still working on the bathroom, the dining room was screaming at us. So we painted the dining room.
And we already had like a lot of the material that we
Right.
needed to continue the wainscoting. The paint, we decided, hey, I'm going really, really light gray. I love grays and blues. So that's a lot of the theme that you see in our house. So we picked this color alpaca from, I think it's Sherwin-Williams. And it was the perfect gray that we wanted. Where it's just like it's white but gray. I don't know. It was perfect. It made a great contrast with the white. So we already have all this stuff. It's just putting in the work to doing this. We had wanted a coffee bar, and we already had a sort of a coffee station, but the furniture just needed to be upgraded. Not upgraded and buying new furniture, but more of painting it and giving it some new life.
Right, and that's where, like, I went to the internet and I learned how to just do some of this simple. What do you
Because
call
you can
it?
find
What do you
anything
call
on
what do you
YouTube.
call
Refurbishing, I guess.
reviving? some
Yeah, I
old
think it's
furniture?
maybe. I know the word you're trying to say, but you got really, really good at that. Another thing that we did that I think is a cheap hack, right, is that I wanted black accents throughout the house because our kitchen has this black countertop. So it's kind of a focal point, right? And with the light gray and the white, the black really stands out. So we painted all of our electrical covers black instead of going and purchasing black covers. Because, those covers
And I did it simple. I used spray paint.
spray paint on plastic covers. What did we spend on a can of paint? $3 or $4?
Yep, and we did.
Okay.
It
And
changed the entire room.
amazing. Like it just, yes, it gives it new life. And so we learned, like how to not, we don't need to get all brand new stuff. We just need to give our old stuff new life. So
and we did that with a lot of our stuff.
I showed you like what I envisioned our coffee bar to be. And your favorite line is just tell me where it goes. Just tell me where to hang it.
Yep.
Where do you want this?
Tell me where it goes, and that's where I'm going to put it.
Wait, I'm supposed to put this shelf over here? Is that fine?
Chip.
You're such a good chip. And we did a beautiful coffee bar, and it's great, and it's and it fit. So, I felt like we were moving throughout the house, and it's funny because we have our pest exterminator who comes by every couple months, and every time he's a great pest exterminator, by the way. And every time he comes, he's like, "Wow, a new room has changed. The house looks entirely different."
What shall I walk into today?
And I always tell him, you're the first one who gets like the first look at what's going on because, you have to come in here and see that. So
So we made it around. So now we've created like a U of new, right? The kitchen's kind of sitting in the middle, and the kitchen is still in the old look, and it's screaming at us.
And again, I'm thinking that's 10 years down the line because we've done so much already.
Yeah, it just starts screaming at us like ridiculous. And we actually just finished painting it this weekend.
I know, right? So this weekend, these last 2 weeks have been ridiculously tiring because we have been trying.
The last month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying the last
Because
two.
we didn't even talk about the laundry room.
No,
We
I
didn't
mean,
even,
because that's the thing is like right now, I feel like we're in the middle of finishing up all of these little things, you know. So we already had a guest bedroom, but when our son moved out to college, now all of a sudden his room is free. And so another dream of mine had always been to take out the laundry machines out of the garage, which is now the office, right? And put them in a room where we could like just have it dedicated to laundry. Because I just didn't like it being in the garage. I just felt it didn't fit with, you know, if you're watching a movie, you hear the machine spinning, and it was just, it needed its own space. So, in the middle of us doing all this stuff, we're moving the guest bedroom into our son's old room, right? So we're in the middle of painting that room because we already have everything we need for the guest bedroom. We just need to paint it, hang some wall decor, and just, you know, get some window coverings on it, whatever. But it's pretty much done. The paint is the really big part that we need to do in there. And then the laundry room was moving stuff and also having it converted. So our handy dandy
yeah,
handyman.
our handyman came and he ran the electricity, he ran the plumbing, got that room ready for us.
Right. And it's right next to the guest
and then-
bathroom, which drew water from there, was perfect.
And then all at the same time, we had fence going out around the entire yard.
Yeah. And the fence was something that I know you had wanted for a long, long time, right? It was even when we first came to see the house before we bought it, right? It's an old wood fence. You could tell that there were parts that were kind of a little wobbly, right? But then Hurricane Irma came and two sides of our fence completely fell. So we only had wood fence on either side of our home, running along the length, but nothing around the back. The back was always just a chain link fence,
4-foot chain link fence,
and then whatever the association had planted back there, which was sea grapes, and they were always pretty tall. So to me, every time that you would talk about, oh, we need to put up a fence, I was like, that's so like in the back burner. That's not necessary right now. We're fine the way it is. We propped up the fence when it fell and we made do. Our dogs can't get out. It's pretty secure. I'm good with it, okay?
And then I got the phone call.
Oh my gosh. The association came and decided we're going to cut the sea grapes down to 2 feet tall. All of a sudden, there's a street, but a community street that runs behind our house. And all of a sudden, I could see the sidewalk from our kitchen window. There's no more privacy. And that's when I was like, what do we need to do to get a fence up?
Yeah. So all this stuff is all happening at the same time. And the kitchen screaming all throughout this.
Help me.
And I'm like, you know what?
Me.
Forget about it. Go. I put my head down and I said, run.
And listen, again, the previous owner spent money, got great cabinets. The countertop, I love the black countertop. It's not that fake quartz or marble.
It's granite.
It's granite, okay? Because in one of the places that we lived, I didn't know that there was fake granite. And I put a pot of boiling hot water on top of it. And when I moved it, there was a circle underneath it. Okay, so I always loved these counters. It's just the cabinets were not the right color. So what we really did was give them a facelift, just paint them and change the hardware for that black accent.
Thankfully, because the money was put in to get great cabinets, we were able to do that change. And the cabinets were put in 10 years ago. And I was telling Kemia, I was like, we painted those cabinets, and it's like we reset the clock on them. They're brand new again. And our kitchen is like out of a magazine.
It's just amazing. And, just having to do a backsplash and have them painted, I know that you had contemplated, I'll just paint them myself. I'll just read on YouTube. I'll just learn myself how to do it. And I begged.
Don't do it.
Please don't. And you know what? I think what convinced them is that one of our neighbors decided to try to do it themselves as well. And they shared how it was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was horrible. It took them almost a month.
And I couldn't. Because I know that when you say, I'm doing a project, I don't need your help, all of a sudden I started hearing, hey, can you come hold this? Can you pass me this? And I did not want to be a part of that at all.
It took the professionals 3 days.
3 days. And let
Two
me
of
tell
them.
you, it was a hard 3 days.
Yeah.
Those 3 days were hard. I can't imagine being out of a kitchen for more than
Yeah.
that.
It would have been at least a month.
But not having access to your kitchen, having people in your house, it was like we were kind of like over that already. We have packed up. Oh my gosh. And then just a quick thing, right? So you failed to ask, what did we need to do to prep for the kitchen to be painted, right? So I get woken up on a Monday morning frantically. They're coming to paint the kitchen right now. They weren't supposed to come for 3 weeks, but they had an opening. They said, do you want us to come? You said yes, right? Which I don't regret that, but it was like, they're coming in an hour. We've got to take everything out. So here I am running to take out everything from every drawer, from every cabinet,
Oops.
from every crevice. When the guys come over, he's like, oh, you didn't have to take everything out. We just cover everything.
But he did say that it made his job easier.
Moving along.
Anyways, so we've been running through so many different renovation stuff in the house, and we literally have like
Laundry room is probably tied for first as my favorite place in the house.
kitchen for me.
Kitchen and laundry room. I mean, it's just what a dream to have that. And so like right now I know our episode has run super long today, but I just felt like there was so much to tell and so much has happened. I feel like normally people will cram this kind of stuff in 10 years. We did this the pandemic made me do it.
In a year.
We've crammed so much stuff. And so our next big project, I mean, we still haven't finished our guest bedroom. Again, it's just a painting, and our guest bathroom needs a
refresh.
A refresh. And so we're waiting on that to get that done, because it's not bad, but in order to complete the house, those are the two things that need to be done. But then our big project is the backyard, because even though we shared the fire pit and how we transformed all of that stuff,
we want to dig a big hole again.
We do, and fill it with water again.
But no fish. No fish this time.
We want to be the fish this time.
Yes, we want to be the fish. The pool is
the
something
next
that
big
we
project.
want so bad.
So,
but can you believe that we've been talking for an hour and 25
I can't.
minutes?
I'm so sorry. But,
hour,
hopefully...
An hour and 27 minutes.
Hopefully it has been entertaining for our audience to just hear about our adventures of being a homeowner. I mean, again, this is not the norm. We have crammed a lot of stuff into a very short amount of time. And the thing is, we are going to have so many more like this.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like there's always going to be something that we're doing to the house, but hopefully not for a very, very long time. But just as homeowners, there's always something to do.
It'll be smaller stuff except for the pool.
Yeah. I mean, we have an electrical issue that now has come up, which is an unexpected thing where we've got to upgrade our electrical panels. So, yeah, I mean,
It's okay, though.
Yeah. So it's amazing. Home. It's amazing, and it's just amazing to have the opportunity to have something that's ours and that is.
And like I said, I literally love coming home. It feels different.
'Cause I'm here.
Okay. Yes, because you're here. No, but for real, guys, thank you so much for continuing to listen. We have been getting so much amazing feedback. We've gone international. We have listeners in Canada. So hello, Canada.
I don't know if is that considered international?
Yeah.
They're our neighbors.
I know, but
they're our friends.
But you need a passport to get there.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm sounding a little bit lost right now.
Anyways, to me, we've gone international. We are in Canada. But we have listeners all over the United States. We have people in in
Canada?
California, yeah. Canada, California, Oregon, Maryland, Michigan, all up and down the East Coast. Like there's so many, different places that people are listening to us, and it really is amazing.
Yeah.
We love it.
And we've gotten some ideas for, just some things to do on our podcast based on other episodes that we've done. So somebody suggested that we do a personality test instead of self-diagnosing ourselves.
Yeah, that'll be
So
fun.
we're considering doing that as well. But we want to hear from you guys. And if you have any questions about, anything that we talk about, anything we've done, if you want any recommendations or anything like that, or you just want to say hi and how much you enjoy the podcast. I mean, we want to hear from you.
Reach out to us. You can use Instagram, the This and That Chat. You can go to our website, thethisandthatchat.com. There's our YouTube channel, The This and That Chat. Everything is The This and That Chat. We can't make it any easier. But we really want to hear from you. We would love to do that. And next week, join us because we're going to be talking about. I'm excited about next week's because we made a huge change with some social media stuff.
Yeah.
This year with the whole pandemic stuff, and we're going to dig into that a little bit.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. So come back next week. It won't be an hour and a half next week, I don't think.
Dun, dun,
So
dun,
and we're going to close with our theme music
dun, dun,
brought to you by
dun, dun.
Ketmia.
dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. Should I just leave that as the
No,
closing?
bye.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
we're gonna we'll see you guys next week.
See you next time.
Bye guys.